Okay, I think we are live. Still waiting for people. Let's check. Yeah. Yeah. We are live and I'm simply trying to first get people on. Someone is already on. Yeah. Yeah. So those who are literally watching. All right. Those who are online can, keep on holding on a little bit so we can first share. And yeah, get sharing the live link soon. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, I see Lexo has joined. Lexo Ellen Films. I've sent the link. All right. All right. You see Modesta May has joined for other people. see. I call her Miss Victoria. She's also online. Okay. Yep, I think we're about to. Yeah, that's our time. 3 p.m. I am looking at you. Just that I'm trying to pay attention to the phone, trying to share the link to other people so they could also join us. Uh, yeah, Mercy, I always keep time basically, so I had to to make sure I'm around at exactly 3. I'm just trying to spend a few minutes of your time to also invite other people so they could join us, such that we don't only enjoy the session alone, but also with other people. So yeah, just hold on a little bit so I could share with other film-related, groups and personalities. Okay, let's see where we're going. Yeah, I want to start with you guys who are here, but I want to all of us to benefit. That's why I'm trying to get others who are also who might also be interested. So yeah. Okay. Looks like we got most of it. Yeah. You're gonna be a little bit patient, so I could share with other uh, groups. Yeah, you're gonna give me just like the next what can I say? The next 3 to 5 minutes, so I could finish sharing. All right, we are getting there. I see 12 people on. That's good progress. All right, thank you guys for coming. I'm seeing more still joining. Yeah, keep the greeting messages coming in. I'm going to read them. Don't worry. Okay. You can as well help me share with other friends around you. That will do much more impact, such that we can reach to as many audiences as possible as we're about to begin. Okay. Okay, let me be trying to maybe look through all the people that are on. Yeah, I saw Lexo, LN Films, Modesta May, thank you for coming. Victoria, thank you for coming. Mercy, thank you. Naluswa Fahad, thank you for coming. Elena Jessica of CinemaUG, thank you for coming. Josephine, thank you for coming. Joan Bugaya, thank you. Yeah, I'm still trying to get other people. Okay. Yeah, I think we should really begin in the next 10 minutes. In the next 3 minutes, I mean. By 3:10, we should be kicking off, such that we don't have to wait for longer. Yeah, Kaija Moses, sorry, we're still trying to get some more people. That's why you're getting nothing yet. But we are starting in the next 3 minutes. Just try to be, yeah, a little bit around us. Yeah. Yeah, maybe at the meantime, I can be talking about what we are going to be doing here. This is an initiative of CinemaUG in partnership with Kyooto. CinemaUG is a platform that works more on promoting film, promoting the industry in general. It promotes every aspect of it, from the film to the actors to the cinemas to almost every product. They brand actors, they brand films, they brand almost everything that is in line with film. That's what they basically do. They are more like a connection of there's more like a connection between the audience and then the filmmakers. That's who we are. I'm a filmmaker myself, just like everybody else who might be here, and those who are not filmmakers. And we are usually connected by platforms like CinemaUG. CinemaUG has a website where you can find more information. That is www.cinemaug.com. Yeah. I'll even type the website right there in the comment section so that you guys can get it. CinemaUG.com. Yeah. So that is the website for CinemaUG. And when you go to that website, if you're an actor or a filmmaker, you can be able to put up your profile, to make your own profile there. And because they have an online database that they run where they profile actors and films and so on. So CinemaUG has an app where I first got to know about it. So it has an app. It's on Google Play Store. I don't know if it's on online on the Play Store or I don't know what is it called, Apple Store, App Store for Apple for iPhones. I don't know if they have an app for Apple iPhones, but you can check there and see it. It is called CinemaUG, and I believe you will see the same logo that you see here about it. So you can go to the app and read more about it, read more about the cinemas, read more about the actors and the films. They have some films already profiled on that app. Yeah, it's a fast-growing platform. It was launched in 2016 and it has been running ever since. So yeah, we hope to see it grow with us as the industry because we need such platforms that can link us up to the audiences that we literally need. Yeah, that's one of the partners of this session. And the other partner is me myself. I am a filmmaker. I write, I produce, I direct, I shoot, I edit. I also mentor upcoming actors in general. So you could reach out to me in case you want those services from me as a person. And then the other partner we have is Kyooto. Kyooto Media Group that goes by the brand name Kyooto. It's a production company. It does film, everything film. So if you want to either learn more about acting, if you want to produce a film and you don't know how, if you want to make a movie and you don't even know how, we can help you make your movie. We can help you through the process from developing the concept to the final product that is ready for CinemaUG to take on, promote, and exhibit elsewhere. Yeah, so for us, we are basically technical. We help you to produce your film, from writing to getting you the crew people, to casting for you, to directing the film for you, to shooting the film for you, to editing it and everything else. So you can just come to Kyooto Media Group to get all those services. Yeah, I've gotten information that CinemaUG is working on the Apple application for the App Store. So it will be coming soon. It's not yet there, but you will be getting it. But for those who use Android devices, on Google Play Store, you can get the CinemaUG app, and you get to get updated every now and then. Yeah. So we have 3 partners so far for this session. We're going to be having these sessions every week for 2 days, twice every week. We've been contemplating about the days. We had chosen to work with Tuesday and Thursday. But before we even launched this episode, many people have been trying to talk to us and request that we should put it on a weekend, looking at the Freaky Friday, benefits. So we are still trying to make up our minds to see if we can change it from Tuesday and Thursday to Friday and Sunday. Once that is approved, we shall be communicating about that, so you can also be able to catch us on a weekend where you can have Freaky Friday bundles. Yeah, we thought it could be a better idea for all of us and all of our people, so they could be able to attend the sessions. The beautiful part is that even after the session, the video stays here, so you will be safe to watch the session even after the session is done. You may maybe miss the on live interaction. Yeah, more people are still coming in, and yeah, I'm still saying you. I may not mention all your names, but yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah, we are going to be discussing so many things on this platform. It's a platform for film, film for the filmmakers, and then film for the audiences. So we're going to be cutting across with what we are going to be approaching. We're not going to be basically teaching, but sharing thoughts and perspectives and views from the audience and from our side as CinemaUG, as the industry, and so on. And that's why those who saw the promotions, we talked about people sending in their questions and requesting for topics they want us to discuss about. Yes, we may know a lot of things to discuss, but it's always beautiful when we get to hear from you about what do you really want us to tackle, so we can serve you a menu that you also would enjoy. Yeah, we received a number of questions this week, and those questions totaled up to around 20. Yeah, and we may not cover all the 20 questions today to finish all of them, but we're going to be covering one question at a time, and then we exhaust it enough, then give room for you, the viewers, to respond back to us. Yes, and I may not be revealing the names of who asked whatever, but we shall be letting you know. Most of the questions came from WhatsApp. Someone is talking about network that you're missing out. I don't know. I think it's your network. I'm not experiencing a problem. I'm getting pretty good here. Maybe it's your side. Sorry about that. Yeah, but mine is very clear. I use a trusted network. I'll not tell you what it is, but it's a trusted network. Yeah. Sorry, Sharon, for the network issue, but you'll get on track and you watch it. Yeah. The other thing is, I have a series of questions that are dynamic. And we are going to tackle two interesting questions today that, yeah, good. Thank you guys for coming. Those who are still coming in, that are very, very important. And maybe these are the questions that are really keeping our industry at a certain level. And oh, wow, it's raining. But I hope that will not interrupt my sound. I hope you'll get me clear. And what I was saying is that there are two questions that a certain person asked, and I found them so interesting, and I think we should really give them a keen eye. The first question was stating that the movie industry in Uganda seems to attract no investors, yet it's considered to be a virgin market. What are those strategies laid down by filmmakers to overcome this? The truth of the matter is we okay, we are not literally having investors in the industry. That's very true. There are those who would say that they are investors here, but the truth of the matter is that we don't have them yet. And this is because however much, oh, good. Someone is saying live and clear from Kisasi. Akram, thank you for coming. We have a very good platform, that is the film industry. Film communicates to a bigger audience. That's aesthetic. And it has a lot of room to project so many ideas into people's minds. It has so much room to re-engineer people's minds and create a new perspective of thought. Film is a tool that I wouldn't relate it so much to music, but it's much more stronger in one or another. And these are things that we tell ourselves, that all our movies are so great. We can do so much with them. We can show a lot of brands in the film. We can market products. We can pass on messages and agendas and all that. But the problem is that it's all of us filmmakers that we are at a stage, we are at a state of life where we are making films for ourselves. That's what I can say. What do I mean? It's not much more of the fact that we are making films for not for the audience. We always say we're making the movie for the audience, but we're making movies for ourselves. The movies that make us smile and make us laugh, or make us feel loved, or make us feel a bit positive about what we're doing. So someone will want to do a film, and they want to tell a story about, let me say, a girl who falls in love with a boy, or a disrespectful husband, domestic violence and so on. Those other, styles of stories that we tell. And most of these things are things that we tell because we love them and because we like them. And that is not bad, but it doesn't literally get us investors. The only thing that we are lacking to have the investors is to find out what these investors want. Because almost every film that gets made for the public has an investor behind it, and that investor is trying to pass on a certain agenda through that film. It could be directly or indirectly. There are some agendas that you never get to realize that are being passed through a film. We have seen so many, I would just say, LGBTQI films that push that agenda, and then it gets investors who push for such agendas. Here in Uganda, we have so many, let me say, institutions, so many companies and brands, and we have not yet tapped into the state of trying to find out what agendas do these institutions want, or do these tycoons want to push ahead. For example, agriculture has a lot of money in it, and there's a lot of funding in that, but we've never had so many projects or films that are trying to push the agendas of agriculture as a thing in Uganda. but we are so much into telling stories about love, about family dramas, and all that kind of stuff. But we don't have these elements that people want to fund. You get. There could be a funder there could be a tycoon who has a certain agenda that they want to pass on, but it can be passed through film, and they create that perspective. But because we don't get there to know what do they really want to pass on to the audience, because we filmmakers, we are more of a bigger, let me say, a megaphone. We amplify the messages, we amplify the perspectives. The Americans, they use films to brainwash us, to teach us a new perspective. You get, and they do that so well that they make us believe that America is the best country to be at, and it makes us feel like America is a heaven. You get. I always believed America was like heaven, was like amazing, and a country that everyone dreams to be. We dream to go to Hollywood because of the way they brand it to us through films. You understand? And that's it. Like there could be a certain institution in let me say in America that wants to push for migrants to come to America to work from there. And it makes everything look like you can actually come and get a job in America. You can actually come and live a life in America. You can actually do this. You get, or certain brands, whatever. What is that thing? McDonald's, or so many. You know, like how we like to. We see both James Bond movies that always push agendas of those outfits, the suits that James Bond wears, and the cars that James Bond drives, and so many other things. These are films that are simple stories. They're not even so special, but they have other brands around them or within them that are pushing the agendas of that brand or the perspective they want the brand to make it feel like. When I watched a movie, what movie was it? I forgot it. It was a Hollywood movie. I think it had Jack Chan in it. It had a suit in it. It had a tuxedo in it. I forgot the title. But when I watched that movie, I felt like I want to buy a tuxedo. But that tuxedo had some technology in it, but I would like to wear one because it pushed to my brain, to my understanding. So if we get to understand what the existing people, but there are people who could be potential funders of film. We have telecommunication companies, we have so many institutions and private businesses, banks, and so on. If we can channel our stories to suit their agendas for the year, or for the, let me say, you can know the agendas of that company for the next 5 years, and you make stories that fit that company or that brand. You understand? Not to, you can make a film that suits any bank brand, any beverage brand, any whatever kind of brand, and you approach them with that brand. But before you even approach them, we have a problem that these people, yes, they want their agendas to be passed through the movies or through the music or through the, you know, the artists and whatever that they want, but they want to know, if we put our agenda or our brand through your film, how are we gonna reach the audiences? Or if I am going to put money into your film, how much money am I gonna get back at the end of the day? So if it's a businessman who just wants to come, invest, he gets these after benefits and then his money back. He wants to be sure of how the money is gonna come out. So I said the first point, we do not know the agendas that all these investors want to pass on. You get. The musicians, sometimes they get to know, and other different artists who try, and they pitch to them their agendas. And before you know it, they have been funded. You understand? You realize we always get, I call them the once in a while tycoons who come with money almost every year, and they splash it everywhere. We've seen them. I will not mention their names. And they have some agendas they want to push. They want to maybe say boost themselves. They want to be looked at as glorious. So if we can go down to earth and go in that direction of trying to make a film that tries to blow their trumpet in one or another, they're going to feel like they're part. They want to own it. They want to be like, oh, if this movie is going to promote me and I feel big, good, I want to be part of it. But okay, it's going to promote me, but which audience is it going to go to? So we also have to understand more about how do we tap into the audiences, because all these funders only want you to they only want to be part of you if they have a assured audience. You get, because they like this agenda wants to go to the audiences, not to the filmmakers. It has to go to the audiences. So if you can make me pass on my message that, let me say, someone wants to push an agenda of, let me say, what can I say, of, let me say, boarding schools are bad. And that's the agenda this person wants to pass on. And you can do that through a film. I can do a film and I will make you either hate, I can make you hate anything, or I can make you love anything. I can make you love a bad guy. I can make you hate a good guy by the way I make the film. So if the investor wants to push on that agenda that I want people to hate this brand or to love this brand or to like this perspective, I can make that in a movie and you will believe it. And if I make 5 more movies that are emphasizing the same point, you will believe it. You get. We've seen movies that are done about so many viruses and so many monsters. You get. Right now, if they tell you there is a vampire in Uganda, you'll not even ask how a vampire looks like. You already know what a vampire looks like. If they tell you, oh, someone wants to own a Rolls Royce, you will not ask what a Rolls Royce looks like because you've seen a Rolls Royce in the movie. You get. They've been putting them in the movies and maybe say music videos that they're trying to make our brains aware that these brands actually exist. You understand? So with filmmakers, we can influence such agendas. But the people that can put on the money into the films have to be sure of where they're putting their money. You come with your script and they're like, what is the story about? It's about a guy who falls in love with a girl and then afterwards they break up, then after they make up and they're happy. Fine, but where is the selling point of this investor? Okay, what do they literally get? So that's it. So why do Americans and Americans, let me say in general, okay, they sell much more to Asia. Maybe we are there, you know, coming soon, growing market, but they have spent the past 20 plus years brainwashing our minds, making us believe in the stories they tell us, making us aware of their existence. And right now they are making money from us. You will see a movie in a cinema today and people run for it because they have been fed on that understanding. You get. So it's just about us also creating our own agendas and we've pushed them through the films that we make and finding people who associate with those agendas and have them join the journey, because if you can push my agenda through your film, I'll want to work with you to make that movie such that my agenda goes public and people get to see that agenda and they get to follow what I want. So I may want to set up a certain trend or a certain feeling. Or if I want to set up a fashion trend, I'm a fashion designer and I want to introduce a fashion trend. And you can actually make either a movie for me that can push that trend into the story. I want to be part of you. But in case you have not shown me that trend that, oh, actually, our movies can also be a good avenue, I will not come to you. I will dress up musicians to go and do music videos. You understand? So it's more of that. And yeah, I think I've really, really exhausted much about the agendas. Okay, I'm going to address your comments. Let me first finish. The other thing I was really stressing was about getting the audiences. There is hardly no investor who would come on board without knowing the audience that they're going to reach out to, unless they're just excited to just put down their money. That usually gets to waste. So it's always a thing. What I could actually say is that when it may not start right now, we may not get everything worked out in the next week or the next few days, but it's just about making a plan. You get. It takes a lot to develop, to grow an audience. It's a thing that you can work on for like 1 year or 2 years if you want to grow an audience for one movie. You get. Now look at this. Our movies, it's really rare to find a movie that in Uganda takes more than 2 years to be made. And even if they are marketing this film, they'll market the movie for not longer than 1 year. Okay. But the people you want to compete with to get the same audience are marketing their movie for 2 years or 3 years. Okay. So people just get the idea and they start marketing the film. 3 years down the road, they are still marketing the film. Okay. We have one thing I learned is that the human brain, or the audience that we want to sell to, have a way they operate. And in this kind of way is that they have a period of, let me say, getting aware. It could maybe say the human brain of the audience could take like 6 months to get aware of your project. Then the next 1 year to get curious about your project. And then the next 6 months to follow your project and be part of it. So imagine if you have 3 years to market your film, you're going to get, by the time you release the film, you'll have millions waiting for it. And let me say thousands coming to buy or to pay for the film. But we usually market our films. I'm also a victim, like 6 months or 5 months to the premiere, or 3 months to the premiere. You don't get to hear about the film until it is like coming out in the next 3 months or 4 months. Okay. And remember, I told you that the human brain can take around 6 months to get aware. So when people are just getting aware, you're about to premiere. So you're not giving them room for their brains to mature about your product or about your film. You understand? So you end up not reaching out to the audiences that you wanted, and you only reach out to like 500 or 300 people. Or let me say 1,000. But if you give it time and you put in a lot of effort every now and then, it becomes a constant thing. Before you know it, you have the audience. You get. So it's just we rush the marketing process. We rush the making. We rush the marketing. We rush the advertising. It becomes really hard. Yeah. No matter how massive you advertise, a film is something that people have to get used to and connect with, and that takes time. So it's just about us learning how much time are we going to give a project. I would advise someone to market their film for not less than a year if they want to get the audiences out there to actually pay attention to the film. And there are so many avenues of advertising and marketing the film and building the audiences, but the most important thing is to give your audiences time. You get. Okay, there's so many comments. I'll read them after. I'm just trying to bother me. So it's just about us giving our audience enough time and feeding them more information about this particular project or about these particular projects. You get. You can't hustle to beat the same to beat a Hollywood movie that has been marketed for 1 year, and you're all at the cinema and you beat it when it has been anticipated for a long time. You get, unless you're gonna get like 1,000 of your close friends to actually come and follow. But that's not what the investors want. The investors want the audiences. You get, if an investor says that you want to market the film for a year or more, and you have a plan of raising all these masses, they'll trust you. Okay? Why wouldn't I give you money if you're going to make my movie reach to 1 million people? I would give you the money. You understand? Because I'm like, my brand will be reaching out to 1 million people. But why would an investor waste money into you when you don't even have a proper marketing plan or advertising plan that will raise the audience that you actually dream to have? You understand? So it's just about us knowing how to respect our audiences. Okay. And the other thing is, yes, market the film is pretty good, it's nice, but when you premiere the film, don't stop there. You get. Go beyond, push beyond the premiere. You get. I don't know how we are going, how it's really gonna be able to work. I've seen so many structures of distribution models that have been tried to be done here in Uganda, but we have one problem. We have so many people who say they are distributors, and they're also filmmakers. It's not bad to be a distributor and a filmmaker at the same time, but sometimes you're going to have a conflict of interest. So some of the distributors who are also filmmakers are trying to kill our own marketing and our own distribution model because they want to first satisfy themselves. But if we had individuals who focus on distribution as a business, like if we have, let me say, people who run cinemas, and they're the same people who are trying to run our distribution platform, they are not interested in how you make a film. When they're interested in how are we going to make the money from this film, and they are consistent. They can run a cinema for a year or 2 or 3 without falling. We need such people. I've seen so many platforms that come. I don't know if I should mention names right now, but maybe I'll mention names as we go along. But there are so many platforms that I've seen and structures that I've seen. They come and they work for 3 months. You get 3 months, and then they stop. And there are some distribution points that are actually happening, but the consistency and the aggressiveness in marketing. Okay. Yes, right now there are people who are selling, let me say, 2,000 copies a month or more, and they make money like DVDs. But there is more to do than just that. You get. Uganda has 42 million people. If the industry can sell to 1 million people every single year, I believe we shall make things work. But because we are limiting our own selves, our channels are very minimal. We don't even put in as much time to advertise all these projects and all that. So it comes out, you get the DVDs distributed. Let me say you can make 1,000 or 10,000 DVDs. They are done. You've made some small money. You chill. That movie is dead. Another and another. We have to have. I think we have to have the movies that are nice, of course, the good ones that are really flooded around the people, around the audiences, because they don't know what we are doing. Some of them, okay. Most of them may have a clue, but they're limited. You understand? But if we have a proper distribution structure, you can easily convince a sponsor or an investor to come and invest money. Right now, I get people who always ask me, so I give you this money, how am I going to get it back? And the model you're giving him is what works for you, but not for the industry. But if there was a model for the industry with the proper distribution people, it would actually be a better thing with statistics. But we don't have those. Get people who sell the DVDs and all. Yes, they may have the statistics, but they are always in hiding. So there is no way you're going to convince an investor that, yo, you're investing this money, we're going to reach your brand or your agenda to 1 million people or to 500,000 people in Uganda. It's very hard to convince someone because there are no statistics. And it's not evident. The noise is not being heard on media. The noise is not being read about in the papers or online or anywhere. So if the noise is too much everywhere about film, just like how it is with music, I believe there are those brands and investors that will want to also associate themselves with us. There are those few that are coming in, but they're coming in out of excitement. And after they try to do one project and they make losses, they don't come back again later. So that's something that we actually face in the industry. I'm gonna take. We have 45 minutes now. I'm gonna take just a little moment to read your comments because I was literally not paying attention to them. As you can be sharing your thoughts as I'm trying to read your views. Yes, I'm just trying to read the comments and the questions. All right. Okay. Trying to read through. Time and preparation is ever our #1 challenge. Okay, I'm trying to look through the messages. The story for the silence. Okay. All right. All right. Why is it that this is Mwanga Leonard? Why is it that we can't do movies in our languages? Chinese do so, and South Korea and many others, but us, it's all about English. Well, I'm gonna answer that as well. The other is fact. Okay, Chrome was saying I used to wonder why the income was part of the market. Good. Let's talk about the audience target for a movie because that's what matters a lot. Okay. Yeah, someone talked about why we do movies in English and not our languages. I believe there are some regions that are trying to make movies in their languages. I've seen films from the West, from the North, from the East that are trying to be in their languages. I think the target audience really matters a lot. You can make your movie in any language as long as you have the people who are going to pay for it and buy it. Yeah, the only problem is you making a movie in a language that people will not understand and will not buy. So you have to know which target audience you're looking at. If you want to sell your movie to 1 million Lusogas and your movie is in Lusoga, go make your movie in Lusoga, go sell to that audience. That's it. You make the money back and make more other movies. That's the only science. You have to know who you're making the movie for. You can't make a movie in English, then you take it to people who don't understand the language. They will be like, so where are the subtitles for our language, or where's the dubbing, or those kind of things. It's okay to make a movie in any language you want. We only advise that you make a movie in a language that the actors are comfortable with, that they will not sound as if they are forcing accents or they are faking a certain kind of, language that they don't understand. So it's just about that. We always tell people about the language and all that. Okay. Our action movies lack a lot. I laugh a lot when guns come out. How can we make it more real? Okay, okay. We still have a problem that there are people who are doing some pro work and there are people who are doing some mediocre work, and at this point you can't stop them. But maybe we're gonna tackle that in the next question. Action movies. How do we make them real? How do I sell my movies and where, especially short movies? Lorenzo Elilu, is it Elilu? How do you sell your film movies and where? Oh, this is a question you ask yourself before you make that film, by the way. I don't know where you're going to sell your short films, basically, because I don't know who you made them for and why. Maybe when you tell me who you made them for and why, we shall know where you're going to sell your movie. Because when you're making your film, you ask yourself, why am I making this film? Who am I making it for? And why? And where can I get it to them? From something like that. Okay, Mili Naziwa, your energy in the industry is all we need. My view on bettering the industry: can we see good media houses come together and produce good projects? Also, people have got to promote Ugandan ways. All I see selling out is Juju's witchcraft. We don't have this elsewhere. Well, maybe there is an audience that also consumes the witchcraft and juju movies a lot more. That filmmaker found out that they actually like such content, and I don't see if there is anything wrong about a filmmaker making a movie about witchcraft if they have the audience that is going to consume it, and they are sure people will buy. Yeah, about we have got to promote the Ugandan ways. Okay, we have you. I don't know what you mean by Ugandan ways, Naziwa, but I think Ugandan ways are more diverse right now. We have the Ugandan of today in different levels and different demographics. So it's anyone who tells a story, if it feels realistic and believable, well and good. You can tell an upbeat urban life of Uganda and a broke one. And not everyone is suffering. Not everyone is dying every day. Not everyone has AIDS. Not everyone has all those other things. So you can always be dynamic. I would always advocate for movies that are trying to paint a positive picture about our country, to show how beautiful Uganda is, to make people who are in the US to wish they could come to Uganda as well, just like how we wish to be in Hollywood as well. So if we can make movies that would promote our country in that manner, that make it look like a heaven of sorts, such that we can also run to come to our country, that would be beautiful. But there are people who would make a movie that will scare any foreigner from coming to Uganda because of the juju and the monsters and so on. So it's an open world. Yeah. And then you said about the market, we need major shows focused on our industry. Keep Ugandans informed about our good projects. Yes, I think we need to have shows on TV that are promoting film, and I think almost every TV had a show like that. I don't know what it is what it is like right now, but there are so many stations that had film related TV programs that could talk about our industry. The only problem is that the consistency and what those shows are showing. Are they showing the progress? Are they showing the steady progress? So that's the thing. The problems. This is River Rains. The problems we have are the target audience is still a problem in Uganda because what? The problem because of movie types. Another one problem is of choosing areas in the movie. Scripts written do not favor background data for advertisers. Oh, this is a very strong point. And the industry actors are actors, but we need beyond that. We need someone who becomes the real person for the role, so that in advertising also it will be good. You have a very big point here. The movies sometimes the movies we do don't have room for sponsors to advertise, or for anyone who wants to make a movie that is aiming at a certain agenda. That's why I said in the beginning that we are making movies that we love to see, not movies that investors will have to put the money in. So because we don't know their agendas. But if we would understand their agendas and we pay attention to their agendas, we could actually do that. As long as the agendas are also positive to our own perspective. You will not find a Ugandan who will do a movie that is, having an agenda that is against the country's, norms and beliefs and so on. But there are so many people. There are so many people who are investing in agriculture, and if you can make a movie about agriculture and promoting it in a certain positive dimension, you may find an investor who would invest in such a project. But because we do love girl meets girl, boy, whatever, no one wants to put money in that because there is no agenda it actually pushes apart from the feel good about it. So you can use that film still to an advertiser who wants to promote their own agendas or brands through a film that communicates the same, but you have to be sure of the audience. That's why I talked about the marketing bit and advertising and the distribution model. How are you going to get this movie to these audiences? Premiere, yes. Cinema, okay. TV, yes. All those other avenues have to be exploited when you're trying to do such a film. And when you're convincing the sponsor or the investor, let them put the money and you make these things work. There are people who are promised the sponsor heaven and earth, and then after the movie is done, things just fall apart, which happens to some projects, but you have to work to also give back to the sponsor, because once the sponsor gets what they want, they will invest more. We've had people who have put in money once and they don't want to come back again because they lost at the end of the day. Yeah. Yes. When I buy a ticket, can I watch that movie offline on the app? Oh, someone is asking about CinemaUG app. When you buy a ticket, can you watch a movie offline or online? I think CinemaUG app has not yet made a digital library. It is just profiling the films. So when they do that, you will be the first to know. The problem we have is we are targeting a small audience within Uganda, but we should try to push the audience to go outside outside the country. It's okay to make a movie for any audiences if you know how to get there and sell to them. It's very fine. Now, the question basically was mainly about why we have no investors, yet we have a budget market. And they asked what strategies are we laying down to overcome this. I don't see strategies yet, but strategies have to be put or implemented. There are people who are trying to do those strategies, but the problem that hits almost every one of us when you're going to pitch your project is the returns. You have to have proof of the returns will come back, which success stories have worked and all that. If there are no success stories of the same model, how sure are you your model is going to work? And the sponsor or the investor has to trust you that the model will work. Okay. There are sponsors who want their money back. I mean, investors want their money back, and there are sponsors who just want the mileage. So you have to prove to all those. You have to know, okay, this sponsor wants mileage. When you go to Coca-Cola or when you go to a bank or whatever, they want mileage, and then clients responding to whatever they want. So you have to create that mindset into the viewer that this brand or this service is the best. And you have to expose that film to as many audiences such that they can get back their returns. Once they're sure of that, the money comes to you. So it's just about that. The few sponsors we get, we don't serve them what we promise, and that usually affects us. So that's what I can say about such a question. I believe there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Sooner or later, we are going to be upgrading. Let me say one producer or one company will start to do the right thing, and then the other will pick on and pick on and pick on. Yeah, but we shall get there. Yeah, there are so many investors that are everywhere all over Uganda, but we just have to know them what they want. Then we can always get to that point of getting the money from them. But the money is there. The investors are there. Just about us knowing what they want to pass on through our films, and then the audience that they want to reach out to, can we reach those audiences? Imagine if every year we have like 10 or more films that are being given a lot of mad advertising. That will raise the momentum and things will get better. So it's just about that. The filmmakers are not usually good at the advertising, but they have to always hire another person, like let me say, hire CinemaUG to help you to promote your film or advertise your film, and do a distribution model that would actually work for you and your funder or your sponsor or your investor, whatever it could be. Yeah. I see another comment from someone. I'm going to go to question number 2. We are running out of time. Okay, Rava reads, but it's okay if a movie, let's say, is all in musical and drama, expects to have a big audience and telecom industry, hotel accommodation plus hotels, insurance, transportation, fashion and design, and we have not dealt with them like refreshments industry and eco sponsor and all that. This is very true. Like any film can sell to so many sponsors, basically sponsors in that direction. I've done a movie before where I didn't have a location, and I've gone to that person who is a sponsor, who could sponsor a potential sponsor, and I convinced them that the movie is actually a big deal and all that, and they gave me the free space. Yeah, when I was shooting The Forbidden and I went to the school, Hana International School, Uganda, they gave us the school for, I would say, for free, but we also advertised them through the movie. They gave us food and the entire school vicinity. So it was an exchange of, I'm going to give you mileage in the film and so on and so forth. And that was projected in the film, and wherever the film went, it was projected. But we did not give them as much benefits as they would have received, because we didn't have a very good distribution model of getting this film to as many audiences as possible. But good thing is still showing on the TV, that every now and then the movie gets to be seen by people, and their mileage is actually there. So I think the trick is just about getting the movies to the people, to the audiences, to be able to see these films and enjoy them, and then they start to follow. Like I told you, like all we need right now is the people to follow back to us, and then we shall respond, actively like that. Yeah, I want to go to question number 2. I've read all your comments. Those who still have more, you can actually be pushing them on. There is one thing that's question is saying the industry has poorly cooked productions in the market that portray a very bad image for it. Isn't it ideal that we put up a content regulatory commission that governs what comes on the market? Yes, this question is very vital, that the industry has poorly cooked productions that are in the market, and they're giving a bad image for the industry. That is very true. It's a sad truth, but it's very true. We have films that are not so amazing, and there are so many in the distribution. Like there are so many DVDs of those projects, and maybe they are painting a bad image, and they are also trying to create a certain feel of Ugandan film. Like when someone sees those badly cooked films, they'll be imagining that's how our industry looks like, because these may be somehow beautiful looking stories. They are not in distribution in the DVDs. And this is because the people who make the poorly cooked productions, they don't lose so much to put them on DVD. And then the people who do fair quality, they feel they lose a lot in putting on DVD. What I can say is that it's ideal for us to have a regulation system or a platform. There are bodies that seem to be representing that in particular, who seem to be regulatory bodies of content and quality. Media Council, UCC, we have Uganda Film Council, we have UFMI, and so on. They look at so many other things. But since we don't have so much of a rule of what quality should really go to the public, it's a problem because some of the people who run these bodies are the same people who are making such work at some point. And maybe they are also being paid or bribed to push on that kind of works to the public. And even the production owners, the people who make those movies themselves, they just make their movie and then they make so many copies and then they go start selling on the street, go start selling in the regions, and they make their money back, and then they go back and do the same quality and on and on and on. It is very good if we could have a rule and a body that can say no movie starting from this year should be released unless it has been looked at and vetted to be able to be qualified to go to the public. That is possible. It doesn't mean that you're going to stop entirely all the films that are being circulated around in the country. There are those who will break the rule. But if there is such a rule and whoever is caught is fined or whatever, maybe it will do some change. If this industry is going to actually have some changes, to my understanding, it just has to get better and so hard for all of us to make it so hard that if you do a film that is below standard quality-wise, those are technicalities, you either get fined or banned from making a film. You get that could be something, but there are people who are living and surviving on that kind of quality. They get their 1 million or 2 million or less. They make their poor quality film and then they release it, and then they sell copies worth 3 million. If you spent 1 million to make your small movie that has bad quality, and you sell your DVDs at 3 million, all of them, you've made your money back. You just go back and make 3 other movies of the same quality, and you keep on feeding yourself on that. So that is a problem. So I think the industry just has to first become harsh for everyone inside it. Once it becomes very harsh for everybody, all of us, we shall start to react accordingly. Like, people have always been praying for a film commission to come out in Uganda. I hope it does. We had something like the Uganda Film Council that was promising us to serve us like a commission, but I don't know what's going on there. I've not heard much about what's happening at the Uganda Film Council. There was a body that came for actors, Screen Actors Guild, Uganda. It is also somehow, I don't know what's happening. So we have that of consistency in what we are establishing. We need people who are not filmmakers, because for us, we are emotional and we maybe give up sometimes so easily about something that stresses us. So we need people who are actually not as kind-hearted as we are. Just come and first rule us for some 3 or 5 years to put us in line. We need some kind of dictatorship in the industry for things to actually get to a proper line, because it's very hard for someone who is a distributor and a filmmaker to be able to distribute films for a long time, unless they're distributing the movies for their own pockets. There are people who are distributors before and then they left, and now they are doing it for their own films to make their own money, not for the industry in general. So it is also affecting us in one or another. But if we have people who are for the industry to be bettered, we shall always gain. My network is a little bit funny. We shall always gain the benefits and achievements that we want to dream about. But the problem is we are being affected by the very people who are leading these systems, because some of them are working for their own pockets, and that makes life harder. You want to block bad quality films from going out, but the person who is on the door that lets these movies to go out in the public is also the maker of the same, or is a friend to someone who makes the same, and they can't stop them from releasing such content. So that affects us, because they treat this business with the friendship and familiarism as if it's not affecting us in the long run. So it's a very, very big problem I see. I'll not mention names of who is doing that and who is not doing the right thing, but it's happening. Yeah, there are so many platforms that have been coming up, distribution models of how we can make back our money. But when these things start up, these filmmakers become emotional and become self-centered, and then they kill their own baby before the baby grows. We have never had an institution that has been able to run for longer than a year. It is active and making steps of development. It's not there. I've seen them come for the past, I think, 6 years now. They come every year. I've been seeing a new initiative coming up, and the old ones always die. So it's really hard for the industry to actually get better, because there will come a distributor called Afro Cinema Uganda, and then after 6 months or 1 year, they will die. And then before you know it, there is another one, Palwood has come. After 1 year, they will also lose the energy. Before you know it, the publishers, whatever guild has come. After 1 year, they also die. Before you know it, they tell you, let me say, CinemaUG has come. After 1 year, it dies. You understand? Good enough, they have stayed since 2016 and they are still living. But there are so many platforms like that that are existing that are stopping these things from growing. Okay. So if you are watching and you're there and you really want to make some money, you can come and become a dictator in the industry. Because me, I'm a maker. I can't do distribution, because if I try to do that, I may fail my own industry. I may get self-centered. I may get contradicted. But if there is somebody who is a distributor and that's all they do in the industry, like a cinema owner of sort, we shall always be gaining from it, because they know the value of marketing. They know the value of the advertising. No one knows the value of marketing and advertising a film as a distributor, because they know the impact it creates for their film. But for us, we don't know that, because we are passionate about making the movie. You understand? We spend most of our time thinking about making this film and not how to distribute the film. But if there is somebody else who can come on board as the project is being started, like from the moment where concept is being born, there's a dispute about that film, and they are already doing plans of how to distribute that movie. Because you can't tell me that I'm going to serve my project artistically, and then afterwards I serve the marketing really well. I'll be so good at producing the products, but marketing and selling it might be hard. So we need to have those other hands that would come in and operate in that department. So we need specialists and people who can specialize in those departments to be able to run them. The filmmaker is a creative. They just make the thing. You get. They need to have a business person on the side. They have to have a producer who is trained. And then the other problem we have is that our producers are not as, let me say, educated and trained in terms of film producing. So a producer produces movies out of passion and not out of business perspective. We never attach marketing personnel, or we never have that business mindset when we are making all these movies. So it's a big problem that the investors could be there, but for us, we are keeping this film business as a briefcase of business. So it becomes hard for it to actually become a blockbuster, become a big thing in one or another. So it's a thing that is actually hitting us in all centers. You get. So we are not literally being affected because the audience is not responding, but because of us. You get. I am consistent about making a film, about thinking about a story, and I make it. But I may not be consistent about marketing a film, because I am in post-production, maybe editing the film, or I'm on set shooting. There has to be someone else who's doing the other work. You understand? And that's what Hollywood beats us with. You get. For them, the producer or the director is not the same person who sells the film, who markets the film, I mean, to the audiences. They have people who are in those departments. In Uganda, we have people who pose to be in those departments, but they are just there for selfish interests. You understand? That is what is affecting us a lot. And there are so many who are even watching me right now, and they are the same people who are making the industry move forward, let me say 5 steps forward and 7 steps backwards. And that's how we move. I can make a good quality film, and I'm like, oh, there's a distributor X who they told me about. Victoria Film Distribution, come. I give the Kyooto distribution my film, or Uganda Cinema Night my film, and before you know it, I have not had an audience. You understand? And they tell me you have to market your own movie, because for them they have not put their means that can satisfy their business. You get? Me, I'm a maker. Yes, I can make some calls here and there, advertise here and there, but you, the exhibitor and the person who owns this platform, you have to also put in the work and sell to the audiences, because an exhibitor is a link between me, the maker, and the audience. You understand? The exhibitor knows their audience and they know the movies they're going to pick on. You get, at the end of the day, it always comes back to the whole cycle of how everything has to run in order. So it's just about that. We just have to specialize, and everyone, they do their job. If I can do my job of doing the film pretty well, then someone else starts to do the other and the other and the other. So we just have to learn to trust the system of how the film model has to run. We can't be the makers and the distributors at the same time. It's possible, but it's always a stress to do. So people who are distributing should also be distributors, and they do that. The consistency is what we need, because every year we have like 1 or 2 movies that make a big noise around there, and then afterwards it's also nowhere to be seen. So where is it going to end to? Okay. If we concentrate on selling our movies to the people in here, we can make back all the money we want. But it's just about that, tapping into that kind of business. And to people who are watching, who are owning businesses, film is a very big avenue for you to advertise your business or whatever agenda you want to pass on. You just have to work together with the filmmaker to be able to promote your business through that product, through that film, because it will do as much impact. And your brand will stay in that film for as long as the film is alive. And that may be infinity. So that's what I actually understand. Yeah. I don't know if I've exhausted the issue about the regulatory bodies. We have those that are existing, but they are being dormant because they're either run by filmmakers who are emotional, or a friend or to a friend who does bad things, and so on. So it becomes another hard business to tackle. So it's still a bit locked up in one way or another. Yeah, I have more questions to tackle, but our time is 15 minutes to time, I think. I don't know if there are more comments that I have to look at and respond to. I see Riverines has posted another. No, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there is any questions or any comments that you want me to address, but I've answered the 2 questions we have in utmost honesty. Yeah, the main point, we're not attracting investors is because we have not yet mastered the business side of it, audience, and pushing the agendas of the investor. That was the main thing. Yeah, so that's where we are. Audience and pushing the agendas. We make so much about movies that are related to what we want to see, what we love to see, which is not bad, because as a creative, you have to make a movie that you love, that you enjoy to actually look at. But at the end of the day, have you made the money? Are you using your own money to make this film, or someone else's money? So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, am I making this movie to just make it for me, or there is somebody who can actually use it? Because every single movie, an investor can tag along and put money on you. You understand? And the other thing is that the patience, like an investor will need to take like a 1 year to study your project. And most of us filmmakers, we are not patient. You will approach a sponsor when you want to shoot next month. Okay. But the best way to do is approaching a sponsor when you have 1 or 2 years to shoot your movie. That will give you enough time for them to make up their mind. So you have to be as patient as you can to attract that sponsor, because the others will tell you, okay, you've come in a bad time, our financial is going to open up the other time, so please respond. I've had that issue. I was shooting a movie recently and I went to a sponsor, asked for a location, and yes, we agreed everything. They agreed to give me what I wanted in full board. And after that, we did the MOUs and all. We didn't sign, but of course we were drafting them. And then we came to a final copy, and then they had to respond to me about the day to sign. And then I kept on checking on them, and I told them I was meant to be shooting in January, and then they responded mid-January. And this happened that by the time they responded positively, okay, they responded positively. I read a comment that made me laugh. Positively, but they did that late. So if I had more months of waiting, they would have responded to me, and I would have used the place that I wanted to actually use. But they responded when I already paid money to use a different location. And they were giving me the location for free, but I paid money to actually use another one because I wasn't patient enough. So patience is also another problem. Lukman, thank you for coming. I see your comment that there is so much money in pornographic film. I don't know who puts money in that in Uganda anyway, but maybe people buy that. But I don't think Lukodo will allow you to exhibit that film. But maybe you can make that movie and you sell it to the websites of porn. I think there is money there. But there is money, a lot of money in the pornographic industry. I understand that, and so many others. But it's about what works for you as a filmmaker. Okay, River Range, you have a very interesting question, but if you know the reason why the movie industry is lagging behind, what are the solutions you're putting forward to check on that? As a person, I'm trying to do things the way I think I would like the industry to be running as a person. I'm trying to work like that in one or another. I'm learning also as I'm doing this. I'm trying to open up my minds. That's why I'm working with people like CinemaUG, people like Mapenzi Media, and so on, to help me to work on things I can't do myself, and to also, put up something that I can rely on to give money back to me at the end of the day. I'm trying to make the change. I'm trying to be the change that I want to see. So I'm trying to see if it actually going to work.